I heavily debated coming to court today to speak for a few reasons. I feel betrayed by our justice system. I've put myself in a very vulnerable position by coming in and sharing about my pain, which I'm very private about, and telling everybody how much I have suffered, which I tried to put aside to honor Elena's memory, and I feel it ended up accomplishing nothing here. My main reason, though, for not wanting to speak was that I didn't want to give you the opportunity to enjoy more of our family's suffering, which you've admitted that you wanted to see. This entire ordeal has pushed me to my emotional, physical, and mental limits. It will continue to do so for the rest of my life, even more so now that he has escaped being punished to the fullest extent of the law, as I believe he should have been, knowing he gets to live out the rest of his natural life, something Elena doesn't get to do because of his disgusting and violent actions on February 14th, 2018. He has escaped this punishment because a minority of the jury was given the power to overturn the majority decision made by people who were able to see him for what he is, a remorseless monster who deserves no mercy. He has admitted to knowing what he did and described it in horrific detail. A person has to be incredibly sick to want to hurt another human being, even sicker to dwell on the desire and craft a plan, and unimaginably evil to execute that plan, which didn't just hurt people but ended lives. To add insult to murder, he was even arrogant enough to plan a disguise, believing that he would be able to escape his actions as my sister lay dying on a classroom floor, unable to escape his bullets. This incredible darkness that he has within him, which has been labeled here as mental illness, is something that should be considered unacceptable and intolerable. Yet, in this court, we have shown the world that if one stretches the truth, they can get away with not only murder, but mass murder. Every single sick, twisted little freak hiding in their room, searching up things on the internet like mass shooter hype videos of mass shootings, police response times, etc., will now look at this case and say to themselves, all I have to do is claim mental illness and I can get away with it. An incredibly dangerous and ridiculous precedent that has been set here will affect the lives of children across the nation. The defendant and I are the same age, and I can say for a fact that at the time he murdered Elena, he was old enough and mentally aware enough to understand the permanence of death, what that meant. He understood how much it hurt from his own personal experiences. And he fully understood what the consequences would be for murdering someone, yet he chose to do it anyway. I could sit here and complain, as he has, that I've had a hard life. I was bullied in school. I've lost 15 family members and loved ones since I turned 9, to sickness, suicide, accident, and now murder. Not once have I ever turned to hurting others as a solution to make me feel better, because I'm not a coward and I'm not weak. However, after witnessing these proceedings, it appears to me that we coddle, protect, and even reward weakness and evil in a person. I have tried to turn the other cheek so many times and stay strong throughout Elena's murder and everything related to this case afterwards, so much so that I feel that my cheeks are bleeding. But I'm still here trying to do the right thing and stick up for her memory. I have relived Elena's murder in this courtroom. No one that's up here right now can imagine what it's like to have a little sister murdered. And you cannot begin to, understand the depth of pain that it is to relive it in a very public setting, surrounded by strangers. I have heard the gunshots that killed her through the speakers in here. I have listened to the medical examiner describe the fatal gunshot wounds that he inflicted on my 14-year-old baby sister. Sorry, I can't see. I gave a victim impact statement earlier in this trial in an attempt to follow the law and represent my sister's memory, all that's left of her, only to be met with myself, my family, and 16 other families of the defendant's murder victims being accused of only trying to attend looking for revenge. Not once have I petitioned the court to allow me to kill him myself. We are all here to seek justice. I am painfully aware that sentencing him to death will not bring her back, and I am the only one on this half of the room that has to go home and live with that forever. But what we've been told here is that 17 lives are worth nothing if you can make enough excuses for your actions. He has gotten everything he's wanted in this case, save 3 more victims, because as he stated, his goal was to take the lives of 20 innocent people. And we are left with nothing and a slap in the face to top it off. Elena was unable to protect herself from his bullets in that classroom, and this court has failed to protect her posthumous rights, her memory, and her family. I believe that who you are as a human being is, 1, how you treat other people. He showed no kindness, no mercy, no remorse while murdering Elena. He shot 139 rounds of ammunition in that building. He had 138 opportunities after his first bullet to stop. He could have stopped after the first classroom, after the first magazine, after the first floor, but he chose to keep firing, to climb multiple staircases, and to continue his rampage because he was enjoying hurting other defenseless and frightened human beings. He shot Elena through the heart. Why? Because she didn't pick a good enough hiding spot? Because she wasn't able to escape his line of fire fast enough in a moment of intense fear? He shot her multiple times as he did every other victim to make sure that she was dead. That is how he treats other people. Another thing that shows who you are as a human being is your actions when you are struggling. I understand that he believes his life has been hard. I don't think a single person in this courtroom today can say they have had an easy life, yet the rest of us keep trying to do our best, and he believes that he is above that charge. He chose to turn to violence to solve his problems, and is now being protected from the same punishment he needlessly inflicted on my sister because he's too scared to receive what he exuberantly dished out. The first major event of my adult life was when I was 19, when my sister was shot to death. And now my early 20s are ending with being told that no justice will be done in her memory. That she died, but it doesn't matter because his life wasn't cupcakes, rainbows, and sunshine. He gets daily meals, a roof over his head, and a bed to sleep in now. My sister's body is food for carrion. Her roof is 6 feet of dirt, and her bed is a coffin. She died scared. She tried to hide behind a desk, and he shot her multiple times, as I said, with one of the bullets hitting her in the heart. She died alone on a dirty classroom floor, and whether she suffered for 1 second, 1 minute, or longer, although I can't imagine she lived very long after a bullet tore through her heart, she had no chance of being rescued or saved, and he made sure of that. The building which you all have walked through is where her last breath, her screams of pain, and her blood have rotted away for years. I will never get to say goodbye to her. I will never get to look at her face again or crack jokes with her. The last time I saw her sweet face was when she was lifeless and cold, laying in a coffin. If I want to visit her or talk to her, I have to drive to a cemetery and talk to a plaque with her name on it. He is going to have the ability to see his family and call them. I get to spend the first half of every visit I make to her grave for the rest of my life trying to avoid thinking about how her body is beneath my feet and wondering if I'll see her in another life. Elena will never grow up. He stopped her at 14. She's never going to go to college, get a job, get married, meet any of her nieces or nephews, have kids, or even breathe again. But he'll be able to draw breath, and he has for the past 4.5 years that she has not. And he will get to continue to do so into old age. I believe that one who robs another human being, let alone 17 of them, of their power over their own life and the right to live out their natural lives, getting to keep both of those privileges is not an example of justice. Thank you.
Megan, I am deeply sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.